Someone please turn on obscure alternative rock. Silicon Soul is about to get indie in this review of Cave Story 3D. If you were one of the many deprived of its charm, Cave Story was an indie game released in 2004 by one-man band Pixel. Yes, music, sprites, design, and all, Cave Story was the indie dream. A retro side-scroller with all the charm of anything you could have found on the NES, and then some. A fanciful story and charming characters made a world you wanted to explore, and if explore you did, Dokutsu Monogatari rewarded you with a ton of secrets and multiple endings. So when you strip a retro game of its retro and try and push an indie game into the professional world, does it appeal to a wider audience, or just strip away the charm of a game that's made of it? More importantly, with a game that's available for free online and for $10 on the same system, is a $40 price tag really worth it? You wouldn't know from looking, but one of Cave Story's main selling points is actually its story. You're put into the shoes of a silent protagonist who wakes up in a cave one day with no memory. Before you leave this webpage, I'm glad to inform you that the story has a lot more to offer than the long-dead horse pinata that is amnesia. No, things take a turn for the original as you find yourself inside what appears to be a large system of caves of all shapes, sizes, and environments. A giant cave the rabbit-like Mamiga race calls home. More retellable than an action film, but less heart-wrenching than a drama, Cave Story is like a good hot soup that hits just the right spot. That is to say, it's filled with the right amount of cuddly characters, action, humor, and dark plot twists to keep you sipping this soup till it's done. Cave Story's original was packed with retro goodness from the start screen, but also showed a very special attention to detail, polish, and care that separated it from other indie games. It also just felt professional, and yet at the same time it felt like a concept a professional would never risk spending resources on. The craftsmanship carried through to the music, which is both noteworthy and memorable. Cave Story 3D, on the other hand, is, well, subpar. Yes, I hate to say it, but when it comes to the character animations and designs, I can't put Cave Story 3D on par with some of the other games you can find on the same system. In fact, I'd even dare to say that some of the animations look either amateur or unfinished. It also would have done the game well to add some extra nuances like cutscenes. Sure, when you've got these beautiful 8-bit characters, I just use my imagination and the whole scene just feels alive. But when we're talking about fully rendered 3D models, I need a little bit more, and I'm far harsher of a judge of animation quality. Luckily, you can replace the new 3D models with the original Cave Story sprites, which got me through the game quite happily. Cave Story's memorable music has been updated along with the graphics, and the results aren't too bad. The songs are still their old memorable selves and generally keep the feel of their originals. However, the game lacks the option to use the original Cave Story soundtrack, an option given to you in every other version of the game on the market, and I'm afraid I have to strike off an imaginary point or two for that. Don't worry everybody, the gameplay is still safe. Exactly where it was when you last played Cave Story, the gameplay is definable with words like refined, and unique, and exhilarating. But using words like that imply that it's comparable to anything else you play. No, Cave Story has its own special place in the hearts of indie fans everywhere for a reason. Pixel didn't just make any gameplay here, he crafted from scratch a game that could be both adventurous when exploring and focused when advancing. Hectic when fighting, yet precise when platforming. And incredibly, cryptic and adventurous when you don't know what to do, but when you do know what to do, it seems linear. And when you realize the amount of things you can do, it goes right back to feeling cryptic and adventurous. And that is a feat pulled by Daisuke Imaya himself. Cave Story 3D will probably be a blast if you choose to pick it up having never played Cave Story. If for some reason you have a personal hatred of retro graphics, then I'm for you. Go, grab yourself some Cave Story 3D. That being the case, I'm not going to be able to recommend this game simply because if you are currently watching this review, it means you have a working computer and internet, and you can get exactly the same game, only 306% more charming on Steam for $10. As for massive Cave Story fans like myself, I also have to say, this is not the Cave Story I wanted. It was Cave Story, and it was in 3D, yes, but it stops there. The bells and whistles that I expected it to gain as of becoming a $40 game are minimal. Cave Story 3D's new content stops at small extensions to some of the levels. There is a secret item in the game, and that was completely and utterly not worth it. In closing, Cave Story is an amazing game. Fantastic gameplay, lovable characters, and a story that holds it all together. However, Cave Story 3D is not a fantastic iteration of Cave Story. Poor character models and minimal bonus content just keep this from being worth it when you can find extra content and better animations from its $10 counterpart. To be perfectly clear about this, in case I haven't yet, had this been the only version of Cave Story in existence, I'd easily forgive its shortcomings like the last woman on Earth. But it's not. So, I don't.